I would like all of us to think about one question. And in the end of this talk, we're gonna do a small exercise with that. And I would like to think you about whom would you like to spend your last day with? Who are the people you would like to see on your very last day on Earth? Now, today I'm gonna talk about decisions, about making decisions, about making good decisions, bad decisions, and about making it easy for us to take decisions. Why that? Last year I had very impressive, challenging, and amazing year at the same time, and I took quite a few difficult decisions. So I always wanted to become a politician. When I was 16, I joined the Vilnius Liberal Youth Organization. They asked me why I came. I said because I believe in legalization of prostitution, marijuana, and gay marriage. And I still hold the same views. So this is how my political life started. And when I was 18, I left Lithuania. I went to study to Berlin, and I lived in many different countries within Europe and outside of Europe as well. And it was very difficult for me to continue with my political career in a country in which I actually don't live. So 10 years later, I returned to Lithuania and I'm living my dream. I'm running to become a member of the Lithuanian parliament. I actually headed my own constituency. It was Molėtai and Širvintos. And there I started my very first political campaign. And I had to quit it, or I decided to quit it earlier than the elections took place. Why? Because of a big corruption scandal the liberal movement had. I wasn't sure anymore if I really know the people I'm running with. Then later that summer, I decided not to divorce my husband. Our marriage was at the point where we thought that we cannot go on with that and that we will not find a solution. But in the end, I asked myself some questions and I decided not to do that. Finally, 2 months later, after that, I decided to quit my job. I had a very secure, well-paid job. I was leading the office of a member of the European Parliament, Antanas Guoga, 2 offices actually, one in Brussels, one in Lithuania. I could do whatever I want. It was a great job. And I decided to leave it without any idea what I'm going to do afterwards. And all these decisions were not easy to take, and therefore I started to do some research and to learn what is it so difficult about taking decisions. So first of all, our day starts with a decision. Probably the first one we make is right after the alarm clock rings and we're like, can I stay 5 more minutes in bed, or do I have to jump and straight out of it and go to the shower? Then we try to decide what we're gonna wear that day, what we'll have for breakfast, which route are we gonna take to school or to work. And this is how, even before we start working, we already took a lot of decisions. So the research shows that generally we take on average 35,000 decisions every day. In comparison to that, a child takes 3,000 decisions. The word decide itself shares a root with the word homicide, and the Latin word for decide means to cut down or to kill. Now we see that this is already entrenched in the word itself. What's so special about Homo sapiens, about humans, if we compare them to other animals? So first of all, we have unproportionally large brain. And for this unproportionally large brain, we also need a lot of energy. That means everything that involves brain power makes us very, very tired. There is a term for this, decision fatigue. It was coined by a famous social psychologist, Roy Baumeister. And I find that this picture is a perfect illustration for that. It's a painting by a famous Lithuanian painter, Šarūnas Sauka, and it kind of shows how I feel every time when I have to go to a supermarket to do grocery shopping. Now, you might find yourself in this situation when you have to decide what you're going to do this weekend. Many of you are already facing the decision what you will study after school. Will you continue living in Lithuania? Will you move somewhere else? Maybe you will decide not to study at all. Many people feel like that when they are shopping. So what is decision fatigue? The scientists found out that the part of our brain that makes decisions actually works like a muscle. And we all know what happens with our muscles when they are tired. So 2 weeks ago, I started learning climbing. I did my very first climbing lesson. I climbed up the wall 2 times. For the 3rd time, I couldn't hold myself anymore in the middle of the wall. Very embarrassing. I fell. I mean, I didn't hurt myself, but I just couldn't go on. So when our muscles are tired, we just stop doing the activity we were doing. Now, it's not like that with our brain, because our brain doesn't tell us that this decision-taking muscle became tired. So what we do, we actually do 2 things. One of them is we take bad decisions. We take decisions that are not based on any rational choice. We take impulsive decisions. The other thing we do, we decide not to take any decision at all, right? We just try to close ourselves and not to go on with this decision-making process. No, I love the saying, the best decision is to postpone the decision. However, it's only true for very certain cases. So normally the situation gets much worse if a decision is not taken. And even the experts are affected by this. A famous experiment conducted in Israel took a look at 1,001 judgments over a period of 1 time. And these were the judgments where a prisoner appears in front of a judge and asks for parole. And professional judges who are doing this every day were either granting them a parole or not. It turned out that if you appeared before a judge in the morning, there's a 70% chance that you will get a parole. However, if you appeared before a judge in the late afternoon, there was only a 10% chance. Why? The judge's brain, like everyone else's brain, just got tired during the day, and in order to avoid the decision, the judge takes an easier option to leave the status quo, to not change the situation. That way, he or she kind of has less responsibility after that. This is shocking because we believe in experts. We believe in people who are exercising their professions every day, and we think that during the whole day they can take decisions based on what they learned and based on their experience. However, it turned out this is not exactly true. Now, after I did all of this research, I would like to share with you 3 lessons, 3 rules that might help you to take decisions in your life. First of all, embrace the routine. Now, we associate routine with something boring, and in this world where we are all the time reminded that we have to live an exciting life full of new experiences, we think that routine is not something we wish to deal with every day. However, these 2 gentlemen have some routines, and they try to limit the number of decisions they take every day. In one of the interviews, Obama actually acknowledged that he's not deciding 2 things in his day. One of them is what he's gonna wear. The other one is what he's gonna eat. So he's saving his energy in order to make decisions on behalf of the United States when he was the president of the country. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of a company that has 1 billion users, always appears wearing this ugly t-shirt. Why? He wants to save his energy for taking decisions for Facebook. And we might think, okay, it's easy for guys, they always wear the same thing anyway. Now, Here is Matilda Kahl, and Matilda Kahl is art director of one of the most famous New York creating advertising agencies. And she did an experiment. She was wearing the same outfit every day for 3 years in a row. And this is this beautiful outfit here. So while having a profession that kind of brings her together with very creative people who quite often demonstrate their creativity through their clothes, she was wearing the same thing every day. So have some routines and save some of your precious brain muscle for important decisions. Rule number 2 is not to overthink. So when we are faced with a difficult decision, we think or tend to think the more time we spend thinking about alternatives, the better this decision will be. And we think that we are actually involved in this activity portrayed on your left, so nicely showed by a beautiful sculpture, The Thinker by Rodin. But actually what happens with our brain is portrayed on the right. It just becomes a huge mess. So obviously, before taking an important decision, you have to do your research. You have to go to experts or your friends and talk about that. But set yourself a time limit. There's nothing in the world that cannot be decided within 1 month. And you will probably only face 1 or 2 decisions like that in your life. Normally, for even very important decisions, 3 days up to 1 week are enough. So just tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna think about this, but when the time comes, I'm gonna take the decision. And guess what? The outcome of this decision is gonna be based on how much effort you put in order to make that work. So in the end, there are not so many right and wrong decisions. It's just sticking to the decision you make and trying to make that work. And if it doesn't work, then you change it, right? So don't overthink. And finally, this is one of the final scenes from a beautiful movie, Melancholia by Lars von Trier. The movie is about the end of the world, and the world actually ends in that movie. And here we see 2 ladies and a child sitting there together, waiting for the end of the world to come. Now, when it comes to a very difficult decision, I can always easily solve it with this question: what if this was the last day of my life? Would I still be doing the job I'm doing if this was the last day of my life? Would I still go, in your case maybe, would I still go for the subject I chose to study if this was the last day of my life? Would I go studying at all if this was the last day of my life? Maybe I would like to remember myself as a traveler, as an explorer, as someone who aspired to become the greatest cook in the world, or the greatest dancer, or the greatest photographer, and was not following the path someone else told me to follow. And now we all know that we can only learn when we exercise, that it's not enough to see the material. So I would like to do a small exercise with you now. At the beginning of my talk, I asked you to think about the person or a few persons you would like to spend your last day with. Now I would like to take your phone. I'm gonna take my phone myself and send a message to this person. And exciting things will happen afterwards. So I'm here on the stage, and then you can just say, hey, I just wanted to let you know if this was the last day of my life, I would like to spend it with you. Actually, the person I was about to text is calling me right now. He probably also wants to. Now, I have sent my message. Some of you might need a bit more time. Some of you will not send this message at all. So I just wanted to do a quick survey. Who of you have sent the message, actually. Yeah, just it's okay. Yeah, okay. We see a few here, a few people here, so you will see amazing things will happen afterwards. But besides that, I think that the easier you can send this message to a person you would like to spend your last day with, the easier you're gonna make the decisions in your life based on this question. And thank you for being part of this miracle we created here, sending some good energy for the rest of the world. And I wish you not to forget these 3 rules, and I wish you a lot of easy and good decisions in your life. Thank you so much.